Hey friends, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I want to talk with you today about the struggle of feeling like we don't have enough time. This could be that we don't have enough time for gardening. This could be that we don't have enough time to feed our family healthier foods. It could be that we don't have enough time to research all of the different ways to switch out to more natural products in our home. There are so many different things that we have a desire to do to improve our health or our family's health, or even just to pick up a hobby that we really enjoy to improve the quality of food in our family's home. But often we find ourselves saying we don't have enough time to do that. And I want to share with you today one thing that I have found that has been really helpful for me in giving myself back more time to do these types of things that matter to me and that really just bring joy to my life and improve my family's health. So let's go ahead and get started.
Hi friend, do you dream of having a garden but you don't know where to start? Do you want to switch to more natural products but feel overwhelmed by all the options? Do you believe that a holistic lifestyle would help your special needs kiddo but you're daunted by all the information out there? Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast, where you will learn how to work towards your dream for homesteading, gardening, and holistic living in small, simple steps that won't overwhelm you. Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a wife, Jesus follower, and mom to some amazing kids. As some of my kids began experiencing health struggles and developmental delays, I decided it was time to switch to a holistic lifestyle. I quickly became stressed out and burnt out, feeling like I needed to change everything at once. I finally realized that I had to start making one small change at a time, then build from there. I learned to walk this holistic journey in a way that works for me and my family, without stress or overwhelm or constantly feeling like I wasn't doing enough. If you're ready to hear from another mama who understands what it's like to have no time and who can help you make changes towards better health for your family in a way that works for your specific life, then this is the podcast for you. Pop in your earbuds, reheat your coffee for the third time, and let's do this.
All right, friends, I'm going to try to keep this to more of a short, kind of tactical episode. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started. What I want to say is you may hear what I have to say and think, okay, this makes zero sense. And I just want you to hang with me for a little bit because it truly does work. It's something I have found to be true in my own life as I have been on this journey of really working towards this goal and finding that it does free up my time. And what I want to start by saying, first of all, is the fact that, when we think about caring for our homes, so just making sure we have a clean house, making sure that our family has food, we understand that it requires time of us to do those things. You may spend an hour or 2 hours on a Saturday cleaning your house. Maybe that's something you do every Saturday. Maybe you spend an hour every night making your family dinner. Maybe you spend 15 minutes every single day cleaning your house. However you do it, whatever works for you, it does require time. And what I had come to realize over the years is that we often don't think about the fact that managing our stuff and managing the things in our home also requires time. What I have noticed is that whenever I get rid of a lot of stuff in my home, so decluttering, I have less to manage, which means it requires less time of me. Now, I would not call myself a minimalist at all. I just don't really go that far with it. However, I do try to be very aware of the amount of stuff in my home and how much time it is requiring of me. And what I have found over the years of just decluttering and kind of increasing the amount that I am decluttering is that the more I do it, the more I want to do it because I realize how much it simplifies my life. And I do truly believe that that is part of the reason why I am able to homeschool my kids, grow a garden, do a podcast, and all of these different things. And I'm not saying that I never feel stretched for time or that I feel like I don't have enough time, because I do. I'm not trying to say that this is going to cure all of that. However, I do believe that as I've become more and more in tune with how little amount of stuff I need in my home and really following through with that and saying, okay, what is the bare minimum that I can get by with? It really has opened doors for me to have more time in my life. And also it has really helped with my stress levels and just the mental load that the clutter and the chaos was taking on me. Because I am a person who likes things to be very visually clean. Clutter stresses me out. It overwhelms me. And so whenever we were constantly just living in a state of, even if it was just kids' toys all over the living room floor, I would walk by that. We're in our house all day long. So all day long, I'm seeing this clutter. And while I have nothing wrong at all with my kids playing toys, just letting them have a room full of toys that they never touched because they had so many, it was just adding to my own stress. It was also creating a lot of time every single day that we were having to manage helping them pick up these toys because there was such an excessive amount. All they were doing was actually just dumping the toys out and then just walking off because they were also so overwhelmed by the amount of stuff in our home. And what I've also found to be true is that when we would get rid of that stuff, when I would get rid of my own stuff, when I would minimize the amount of clothes I had in my closet, I just felt less overwhelmed. And also, I wasn't having to spend 45 minutes helping kids pick up toys every single day. Yeah, we might have to spend 10 minutes helping them pick up their toys and pick up their rooms, but that was giving me back 35 minutes of my life. And I really like, I've actually mentioned her in a podcast episode like way back in the beginning because I've been following her for a long time. Dana K. White, she actually has a couple books. I've read both of them. I think it's Decluttering at the Speed of Life and then Organizing for the Rest of Us. I think she has a couple more, but those are the two that are on the top of my mind right now. And I really like her method because she talks about your clutter threshold. And basically everyone has a clutter threshold. And whatever your clutter threshold is, it's the amount of stuff that you can manage. And everyone's is different. And so for me, I have to look at myself and say, and realize what I've had to realize over the years is that I actually have a pretty low clutter threshold. So what I can actually manage in a short amount of time every day is not really that high. And a lot of that probably has to do with our family dynamics. My kids, require a lot, very high need. I'm not able to just let them go outside and play and hang out. Like I have to be there with them all the time. So therefore, I don't have a lot of time to be managing my stuff. And as I have been getting closer and closer to my clutter threshold and realizing, wow, I actually need a lot less stuff than I realized, it can feel very scary, of course, because if you're like me, you're like, oh, I could use that or I might need that in the future. But what I have found to be true actually is that it is very freeing to me to look at my home and be able to pick it up a lot faster, to not have to spend as much time on it every single day, and also to look around and just see clean, clear spaces. Now, like I said, we still have some toys, but it's a lot less toys. Sometimes we have a pile of laundry over on by our dining room table. There's a little table there that it gets piled there until it's folded. I'm not saying my house is perfect. It is not, but it is a lot better than it used to be. And I feel like it has given me back so much of my time, also so much of my brain space, because especially for us being home all day, I cook all day. So I'm doing multiple loads of dishes in the dishwasher, and then I'm trying to make foods and we're living in our house. So I'm having to sweep the floor a couple times a day just to stay on top of things. So whenever I can get rid of all that clutter and not having to pick up and manage all of this stuff, like, oh, I need to use this area of the house. But it's filled with all this stack of papers and books. Well, now I've got to shift it there for right now so I can use this area. And then later when I need to use the other area, I've got to shift it back. That just requires time. It requires mental energy that I just don't want to have to put out. It's not worth it. It is not worth it for me anymore to have to manage my stuff. And so for me, following Dana K. White's method of the no mess decluttering, she walks you through, she has 5 different steps of walking you through how to declutter your home without making a bigger mess. So you're only seeing progress. I highly recommend you guys go check out her stuff. She is by far the expert on that. I will also try to remember to link it down in the show notes below, her website. But she does also have books on Audible, and I think Everand. We use both of those audiobook services. That's actually where I've listened to several of her books that way so that I could listen as I was working in the garden or taking kids to and from therapies, different things like that. And I just found it very encouraging. What I really like about her method is, one, like I talked about, how she discusses your clutter threshold, which is your own personal limit of stuff you can manage without feeling overwhelmed. I also like the fact that she does have the no mess decluttering, because as a mom who I'm the kind of person, I'm like all in on something. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I want to do it from start to finish. So often I would go to a space and I would start to say, okay, I'm going to declutter this. And I would pull everything out. And then about 30, 40 minutes in, a kid needs something. And I have this giant mess that I have made, and my child needs something and I have to walk away from it. So now I'm left with it actually being worse than when I started. And her 5-step process actually helps you to avoid that because you're not pulling everything out and making a giant mess. So if you are like me and you're thinking, I really wish I could decrease my overwhelm, get more of my life back, actually have more mental space to do the things that matter the most to me, to play with my kids, to make sure my family is eating well, to start my garden, whatever it is. But you're thinking, I feel like I don't have the time. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to go over to her. She talks about starting small, even if it's 5 minutes. You're only making things better. You're not pulling everything out. You're only making progress. And so that's what I want to encourage you. The number one thing that I have found to be so helpful for me in getting my time back to do these things that I love has been to declutter my house, to get rid of my stuff, to make sure I'm really lowering that inventory, because really, truly, our stuff, it requires time of us. And I think that when we can realize that managing our stuff requires so much time in our life, and is that actually how we want to spend our one life, is managing stuff? I know for me that is not what I want to do. So definitely go check her out. Like I said, I'll link it in the show notes below. I really think you're going to be encouraged, and I would love to hear from you. Head over to our free Facebook community and share with us. If you do decide to declutter something, please come share with us. I would love to just see the progress that you've made and how it's going for you. You can find us at bit.ly/motherhood community. I will also have it linked down in the show notes below. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back next time.
Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.